Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. January 30th. It is Friday, which means we preview everything we need to know about sports for the weekend. That includes another big UFC card. That's 2 weeks in a row. UFC 325. We will go over. Mayrob Minute makes its triumphant return, and we'll cover all the biggest news in basketball, including a race for the Rookie of the Year, one of the highest contended races that I have seen in a very, very long time. There are 5 or 6 guys at the top of the list, especially 2 that competed last night in Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg. We'll break down that game. We'll break down the other major news from around NBA circles coming up in just a second. But I'm not here to do it alone. Today, my friend and co-host Mayrob Fatemi joins me. How are you doing, Mayrob?
Doing very well, Jeremy. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We got a lot to get into. Let's start off in the NBA here. The rookie of the race has heated up. Rookie of the year race, has heated up here. These two guys have really separated themselves from the rest of the group. You have Con Knipple, who just won the game against Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks. That is a red hot team down in Charlotte, North Carolina. They continue to win. They've now won 5 games in a row here. They started off with just 4. They've started off, I think, 4-17, and now they're just 7 games under 500. They have been an absolute surprise, a shock, and we love to see that team. They're also just having a great time. Con Knipple, a huge part of that. He's going to not just break, but shatter the NBA record for threes made by a rookie in obviously their rookie year. It is going to be a huge race. Of course, Cooper Flagg has all the hype, and he's playing like it. We just saw him drop 49 points. 49 points last night in a losing effort. He's doing everything he can. Mayrob, what's your read right now on the Rookie of the Year race?
It's incredibly interesting. This Rookie of the Year race is actually labeled by 2 blue bloods from Duke. It's Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg right now, and they went off on a crazy battle last night. You're telling me Cooper Flagg had 49 points and 10 rebounds in a game, and he lost to the Charlotte Hornets? No, major props to the Charlotte Hornets, now sitting at 21 wins this year. That might be more wins combined this year than they've had in the last 2 seasons combined. Seriously, because that is how good the Charlotte Hornets are playing right now. Con Knipple, 34 points last night. LaMelo Ball, 22. Brandon Miller, still playing great basketball. They have a great starting lineup, and it's showing. They're going out there and playing great offensive basketball. Now, defensively, it's another story. They're still working on their defensive skills, and I think they can work on that and they can get better with that. But offensively, it seems like they finally cracked the code with Con Knipple and LaMelo Ball. They found some sort of synergy with the rest of their guys, and they look really good. When I'm looking at this Rookie of the Year race, it's between those 2 guys, and I think Con Knipple might have just gotten the one up on Cooper Flagg so far.
I mean, based on the head-to-head, absolutely, that's something that you can look at for these 2 guys. But you also have to mention the other guys in the race. VJ Edgecombe had a huge start to the season, and he's continued to play really great basketball up throughout the entire year. He's being that number 2 guy, that second fiddle to Maxey, who's having an incredible near MVP-like season as well for the 76ers. That's a 76ers team that is going to continue to play great basketball. But I want to shout out a couple other rookies as well that are playing great, because this is one of the craziest rookie years that I've seen in a long time. We have Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple at the top. Those 2, I think, have separated themselves from the group a little bit. VJ Edgecombe, not too far behind them. He just hasn't been consistent enough, I think, to be in those real conversations. Derek Queen is one of my favorite rookies. I love the way that he plays. He's on a bad Pelicans teams, but he plays a lot like Jokic does Derek Queen. He's a guy that I like. A lot of people are talking about Colin Murray Boyles from Toronto. He's in the Rising Stars game. I want to shout out Trey Johnson. He's got unlimited range. He's not going to win the Rookie of the Year. He's not really in that conversation, but you could shoot it from the parking lot and it might go in. You never really know with Trey Johnson, but a lot of great rookies. This is one of the top rookie classes that I can remember in a very long time as far as instant production, right? You got Flag, Knipple, Edgecombe, Derek Queen, Colin Murray Boyles, Cedric Coward even is having a good year, and Trey Johnson. We could keep going. There's a lot of great guys that are getting a lot of minutes, getting thrust into the spotlight, and they are playing a really successful brand of basketball. I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to put you on the spot here because I don't have an answer for it either, Mayrob. Where does this rank in the last 10 years of NBA draft classes as of right now?
Right now, I would put it over middle of the pack. And I think that's saying something, especially taking into account 2018, 2017, 2021, some of the recent draft classes that have been really, really good and have produced some special talent. I would put it somewhere around fourth or fifth off the top of my head. I think that's fair. But I think I'd probably have to look down into the rest of the draft classes to have a really good answer for you.
Yeah, the,
I
the, the
think
one thing the one thing with this draft class, well, it's the deepest one, is at least it's one of the deeper ones. It doesn't really have a superstar, and I hesitate to say that because Cooper Flag obviously has all the hype around him to be a superstar. I just don't think he's developed there yet, right? He could be. He's only played half a season, so that's a little quick to judge, right? Con Knipple, I don't think is going to be a superstar, but he'll be an all-star level player. He'll be a big contract kind of guy, a Klay Thompson kind of player is the comparisons that people are giving him right now, and I don't mind that. He's just a shooter, and he's a great shooter, and he's going to make his money off of shooting that three ball. VJ Edgecombe is fascinating. I think if he gets onto a team where he's not the number 2, he could elevate to superstar level, but he's going to be a star regardless just because he's got that high-flying athleticism stuff that you don't really see anywhere. And I mean, shooters always get paid, right? Trey Johnson. I love Derek Queen. He's got superstar potential. He's just got to get onto a successful team that isn't with the Pelicans. And of course, half a season in, you're not generally going to be superstars. But even at the bottom of the draft, there's a couple names that you can keep an eye on. Like Jaeger Demon's having a pretty good year. Dylan Harper's having a solid year. Ace Bailey. You could go down to guys like Jan Hasang with the Portland Trail Blazers. Right, there are plenty of guys from this team, from this year, that have all-star level potential at minimum.
Agreed. And you didn't even bring up like Ace Bailey or Jeremiah Fears that I think who are also having some great years. I think there's a lot of stars that are in the making. It depends on who's going to really separate themselves from the rest of the pack. So we're probably just going to have to wait and see. But in terms of depth of star players, I think this is easily better than the last 2 draft classes combined, I would say, honestly. I think that's kind of fair to say.
Absolutely. The one thing that makes me hesitate for the last 3, Wemby might be better than everyone in this draft class combined.
Well, Wemby's just Wemby, man. Wemby's just Wemby, man.
Him on his own, is that going to be enough for this team to for that draft class to be ranked higher than this one?
For now, I would say yeah. Until a superstar really comes out and puts their name on the really staples their name, I think he'd have to be, yeah. Especially with the way the Spurs are playing. Let's talk about some Spurs basketball too while we're here.
Let's
I
talk
mean,
about some Spurs basketball, Rob. They're playing incredible. They absolutely dismantled the Rockets 2 nights ago now. They have been just a force. Of course, they are the team that exposed the Thunder. I would say the Thunder have kind of been struggling. We saw the Timberwolves shut them down last night. Shout out to the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards and really their entire team with how they were playing defense last night. Everyone's coming for the heads of the Thunder right now, but the Spurs, they're not too far behind them. We talked about some of those young guard talents in this earlier on this show. A guy like Dylan Harper, who's playing really good. They've got a lot more guards. Stephon Castle, of course, won Rookie of the Year last year. There is a lot to like with this Spurs team, and of course, Victor Wembanyama continuing to rise and come into his own. What he can do on the basketball court is unlike anything I've ever seen, and I'm not going to put him into GOAT conversations yet. But if he continues this pace, if he continues playing like he is on both sides of the ball for, let's give him longevity, another 15 years, there's going to be some real discussions about where he ranks all time.
You think so?
Absolutely, I do.
I think he needs to improve his 3-point shot and some of his shot selection. Right now, I think that's his biggest weakness. But in terms of the rest of his game, his passing, his defense, which is just kind of tall but is good enough. He averages like 5 blocks a game. I mean, Wemby's up there with the best of them. I just think his shot selection needs to improve, and honestly, probably just his 3-point shooting specifically, because he loves to shoot it so much.
Well, he's gonna clean up on defense. He's gonna clean up depoys like nobody's business. He would have won the last 2 if he had stayed healthy, but he couldn't stay healthy. That's gonna be the real key for him. Wemby's gonna win 5, maybe 6 Defensive Player of the Year awards until voter fatigue eventually sets in, which it will. He's gonna win at least 2 MVPs in his career. I feel pretty strongly about that. I don't know. Teams winning the finals is a team success thing, and the Spurs are building a very nice team. So I'm not going to predict how many finals, but I'm going to say at least he makes 3 finals. I don't know how many he'll win, but I think they'll make at least 3. Again, that's a team thing, not really Wemby. So we're going to save that one for a little bit later. But I mean, he already shoots like 35% from 3 at like at 7'5". Like, that's insane. You can improve that, but you already have to respect him from the 3-point range. And it's not like he's taking bad shots, because he can make it from anywhere. There's nobody that can really contest him either, which means he doesn't have a hand in his face. He's never going to get his shot blocked. That is just an insane combination of skill and genetics that Wemby has, right? It's a lot of just insane. I've never seen a guy like that do what he can do on the basketball court. Never.
There's never been a guy like him. Honestly, you said he's only going to make 3 finals. I was going to say he's going to make 4 or 5 finals and probably win like 2. That's Wemby. That's how good of a talent he is. He's not only a gifted talent, he's genetically talented, and he has a genetic advantage being how tall he is. Also, sorry about the sun in front of my face. If you need me to do this the entire time, I can, but my hand's gonna get tired at some point. But like I said, the Spurs are gonna be good for a little while. Stephon Castle, they got Dylan Harper, they got Wemby. De'Aaron Fox is going to be good for a while. As long as they can continue to build that team, build that chemistry, build that defense. Imagine if they get Giannis on this team, Jeremy. Imagine if they got Giannis on this team. Oh my God, there's so much to talk about. The NBA is finally coming together. It's my favorite time of the year.
That's right. It's about to be full-blown basketball season as the the NFL wraps itself up. We'll get into draft coverage in a little bit after the Super Bowl, but let's talk a little bit about your Boston Celtics, because they are winning basketball games, but a bit of a setback. Jason Tatum, of course, tore his Achilles in the playoffs last year, second round against the Knicks. I and just about every rational person said he'll be out until at least the playoffs next year. The Celtics are going to have a down year. He's not going to come back probably until next season with the timeline that he was on. But he was pushing it, and there were a lot of reports that were coming out from him, from Tatum himself, that said, I'm coming back this season. I'm coming back earlier than you think. But now a new report came out, I think just the other day, from Chris Haynes that says Jason Tatum will not return for the 2025 basketball season. How does that affect the locker room? Because I think a lot of those guys were expecting Jason Tatum to come in, be that kind of relief for them. I'm not going to say they're going to fall off a cliff here. I'm not saying that. Jaylen Brown is still playing at a near MVP level, right? There are a lot of guys in that Celtics team that can win you games any given night. You talk about Brown, you talk about White, you talk about a lot of those other guys on this team that can step up at any moment and hit a bunch of threes. Pritchard is a guy like that could win you a game with his hot shooting. This is a Celtics team that is really talented. They're a reason they're still a top 3 team in the East, even without their best player. But now he's done for the year. How does that affect the morale in the locker room, and how does that affect them moving forward?
I actually honestly think, Jeremy, the that the Celtics are planning for this. I mean, he had an Achilles injury. Everybody knew that he was going to be out for a year. It's never been seen for a player to come out and immediately a year after tearing his Achilles, even if it's in the playoffs or not, especially that it was in the playoffs, to come back the following season and play in 8 months, 9 months. Yeah, we all wanted it. Yeah, we started believing it because he kept saying he was. I also think that game against the Hawks a couple nights ago, right at because it was literally right after the game that report came out. That was a really bad game from the Celtics. 16 turnovers in that game, and ever since then, the rumors of trade buzz has been just fuming from the Boston organization ever since that game came out. Rumors around Nikola Vucevic, rumors about Anthony Simons on the trade block. Everything, a lot of rumors, and fair said because they need a center. The Celtics need a center. If they can do something with a trade, I think maybe Jason Tatum decides to come back. Maybe the only reason he said that is because the team wasn't looking like they were going to do anything in the playoffs. But I do think if this team can get a legitimate center that can get rebounds, that can play good defense, that can anchor a defense, I think they could actually do some things because that game last night or whatever it was Wednesday night, 2 nights ago, was horrific. Jalen Johnson was picking them apart. You had Okongwu just going insane in the paint. Yeah, I know they shot a lot of threes too, but their interior play picked apart the Celtics, and it just showed how badly they need a center. I cannot tell you how bad of a game that was to watch. It was horrible.
The Hawks are one of those teams that's fascinating to me because they have all the talent in the world. They just haven't clicked together. Of course, they've already been a little bit of sellers at the deadline. Now there's rumors of them trying to pursue a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't think they've got the assets or the first round picks for that. But this is a fascinating move for Jason Tatum, especially to announce it now, especially after everything he's been working towards, just to say it's not happening. I might have waited until the All-Star break to do it, even if he knew it wasn't going to happen. I might have waited until, it was just too late to come back kind of situation because they never even gave him a timetable. He said he's trying to come back, but it feels like there was a massive setback. Have you been hearing anything about a setback, or it's just he's not going to push it anymore?
I just said it says he's no longer looking at a timetable to return this season. So I don't know if it was a setback. I mean, in practice, when you hear about him practicing all the time. So I mean, I'm not sure. They didn't really give a reason. It just said not looking to return this season. We'll probably have more on it soon as more reports come out as we get closer to the trade deadline as well.
We'll keep an eye on the Jason Tatum situation and the rest of the NBA, but it's not full NBA season yet. We still have a lot of news to go around, especially the world of football. So we turn our attention to my favorite segment of the show, the Mayrob Minute. Mayrob has found a graphic he does not like on the internet ranking every single player, every single major player in the Super Bowl, the offensive pieces for offensive and defensive pieces for the Seahawks and the Patriots. He's got some issues with it. Mayrob, you have the floor.
Yeah, this is from a local Boston sports organization, WEI Sports. Listened to them my whole life growing up. Shout out to them; they do a great job. But this graphic's a little bit too crazy for me to get behind. So the GOAT cat, I'm gonna start from the top to the bottom. The GOAT category, I have no problem with. Drake May, JSN, easily some of the best players, or the two best players on the field. The All Madden category, you have Christian Gonzalez, Milton Williams, game records, absolutely no problem. All Pro, You get to Stephon Diggs, Christian Barmore, Marcus Jones for the Patriots. Marcus Jones, all pro, I guess, including his special teams play, yeah. But even the Seahawks players, you got Devin Witherspoon, Leonard Williams, Demarcus Lawrence, and Ernest Jones. No problem with that list either. Here's where I start to have a problem. The pro list. You put Hunter Henry in the pro list next to Rob Spillane and Ramondre Stevenson and Kayshon Boutte. I mean, I think that's a little bit high. And then you look at the Seahawks side. K9, Kenneth Walker is just a pro. He's not an all-pro level talent. Really? You don't put Byron Murphy in the list. I just feel like this list is completely skewed. Of course, it's in a Boston market, but it's a little bit skewed towards the Boston market in a way. I think some of these I think they got a little bit trigger happy with their Boston players and with their New England guys. I don't know about this list, man. I don't know. Jeremy, is this just me? Please tell me this isn't just me.
No, it's not just you here. I think Kenny Walker's way too low on this list. And forgive me, audience, I am working on attempting to bring this graphic up for you guys. But I do not hate the list at all. I think Stephon Diggs is a little high. I definitely would have put a guy, again, like Kenny Walker, a lot higher on this list. I don't really know why Myers is in the pro category. Like, he's good. He's a kicker, though. This is a really subjective list, I'll say. I also think Travion Henderson is a little bit low. He could be tier up, maybe in that useful tier. I don't think you need to put him below a lot of these guys. But overall, I don't have too many problems with this list. There are plenty of guys that I think are going to have huge impacts in this game. But at the end of the day, they got it mostly right. My only real issue with this list is how low Kenny Walker is. There are plenty other things that you can point at, but that's the only really big one that I've got when I'm talking about this list overall.
No, absolutely. It's a mess of a list, I think, too. And I mean, it's really subjective. And I think some of these guys, even like they got Nick Amanwari in the rookie mode category. Like, I guess that's with the rest of the category too. But like what I'm saying is it feels like a little bit of this list, it just doesn't make sense. A little bit of the list does not make sense here.
You know, it's not happening. Let's do a little. Let's see if we can get this list up here for you. But no, you're not seeing it. Oh well. We didn't have time to get it up. But that's the Mayrob Minute for us here. The Super Bowl next Sunday. We will keep an eye out for that. Just under 2 weeks away, much like the Winter Olympics. They kick off within 2 weeks. We'll have all the major Winter Olympics coverage for you here on the Triple Threat Show. Keep you updated on the U.S. medal count, where they're struggling, where they're succeeding, what the hockey team's doing, and much more. We will also continue to cover all of your favorite sports, including talking a little UFC, Mayrob. Another major fight. UFC 325 is here. Main event. Massive. Let's talk a little bit about 325. Another title belt on the line. Two main events, two title fights in 2 weeks. Not like the UFC. They're trying to promote that new thing with Paramount Plus where you can watch all of the fights non-pay-per-view with just the one subscription, which, not plug, I really do like that. I hate pay-per-view. It's too expensive, and it's not worth it for just one night of fights. But one subscription, not that bad, honestly. UFC 325. Break it down for us here, Mayrob.
Yeah, I love it. It's going to be a really good card. You got Tai Tuivasa starting off the card with Taliesin Teixeira. Tai Tuivasa is one of the more we've seen his name pop up for a while now, over the last 6 years now. It's a heavyweight fight. These two big guys are going to go at it. I like Tai Tuivasa. He's one of the better ones for me. I do think he's going to win this fight, but I do know Taliesin's the younger guy. He's got more of a height. He's going to use the height advantage to his advantage. But Tai Tuivasa, I like his ground game. I'm still going to roll with the more experienced guy. Then you got Rafael Fiziev against Marcio Ruffi. Marcio Ruffi's actually from the is from Bellator. He's from another fighting organization. He just moved over like a year ago now. He's only 29 years of age, going up against a really good Rafael Fiziev. If you don't know who Fiziev is, go back and watch his fight against Justin Gaethje. He had 2 fights against Gaethje, beat him once, and then Gaethje beat him the second time. Fiziev is a really good kid. He's a really good fighter. He's also dealing with a little bit of a disadvantage at height, but I like Fiziev to get it done in a really exciting fight. That could be fight of the night. But then we get to the co-main event, which is the real opportunity to be fight of the night. Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, if you guys do not know him, I would say if you have a weak stomach, do not watch his highlights because they get bloody really quick. Versus Benoit Saint Denis. Last time we saw Benoit Saint Denis, he got lights out cooked by Dustin Poirier. He went lights out against him. I like Dan Hooker in this fight. I know he has a 5-year age gap between the two, but Dan Hooker is that good of a fighter. He's that good. He's trying to go on a run to go for a title fight soon. If we could see that rematch between him and Justin Gaethje, we're not going to see the rematch between him and Poirier like we all wanted because Poirier is retired. But Hooker is really good going up against a really good Benoit Saint Denis. This really has fight of the night capabilities. These are two high flying guys, two really hard hitting fighters. I'm really excited to see. I'm gonna roll with Dan Hooker by a smidge, but I do not see this one going the distance at all. Alex Volkanovski in the main event. The main event, Alex Volkanovski. Who else would it be? Going up against Diego Lopez. Now, we've seen some fights where we see bad blood in the press conferences. Two guys that just love to trash talk each other. This is actually the opposite. Volk versus Lopez. When you look at the comments of these clips coming from the press conference, everyone's just saying, "Why does somebody have to lose? Why does somebody have to lose?" Because these two guys actually genuinely like hanging out with each other, like talking to each other. Volkanovski, obviously one of the most classiest dudes in the UFC. Full respect mode always from him. You can always expect the utmost respect from him. And then you got Diego Lopez, one of the more up and coming fighters. Volk beat him, what was it, 6 months ago now? He beat him in July, I think. These two have fought against each other before. Volk got the better of him. Lopez is coming out for vengeance in this fight. And some part of me wants to say he's going to get it, but I know how good of a fighter Volkanovski is. He's dominant. He's got the better ground game. Lopez has the better striking game, though. I'm going to lean Volkanovski with the experience, but I think this is going to be a really fun fight. It's not going to win fight of the night because Dan Hooker exists, and that Dan Hooker Benoit Saint Denis fight is going to take the cake. But I like Volk to get this one done. Running through my list again, running through my picks. I got Volk in the main event, Dan Hooker in the co-main, Rafael Fiziev, and Tai Tuivasa.
Yep. I'm only going to talk about the main event here. I'm not deep in that UFC lore like you are, Mayra, but I have done a little bit. This is, of course, the second time that these two fighters have met. They met in April of 2025, so just about a year ago now. Volkanovski versus Lopez. We saw Volkanovski, win that fight by unanimous decision. Although that one was a lot closer than it sounds when you say unanimous decision. Volkanovski got knocked down in the second round, so this is not going to be a domination fight by any stretch of the imagination. The scorecards were 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47, so he won all the other rounds. But this is going to be an absolute battle. Again, I point to the age. That's something that you have to keep in mind. He's 37 now, and we just saw Justin Gaethje go out and show that it didn't matter, but not everyone is Justin Gaethje. Like, that's a special guy when it comes to fighting. So there are plenty of reasons to look at both sides of this fight right now. Again, my key stats I always look at: that reach, the age, and then how they win these, how they generally win. Right? Volkanovski has the reach advantage by just about 2 inches. He's coming off of a loss though. Last time out. Most of the time, he wins by KO, TKO, 46%. Excuse me. I'm looking at the wrong one. They're both coming off wins last time. I apologize. They have similar reaches when it comes to the arms. One inch goes into the direction of Diego Lopez, but the leg reach is something to keep an eye on because Lopez has a 5-inch leg reach advantage on Volkanovski. Of course, did not matter too much last time they fought. But again, both of these guys, they like to hit and they like to hit hard. Volkanovski likes to win by knockout and decision, while you get a little bit more grappling from Diego Lopez, who's going to win by submission about 44% of the time. That's how he gets most of his victories, actually. His fights go a little bit less, so if you're going to see a Lopez victory, it's going to be a lot shorter most of the time, and it's probably going to involve a lot of ground fighting. If Volkanovski can stay off the ground, if he can stay standing on his feet, I think he's able to take this one. I do lean towards Lopez in this one. I think he gets his revenge here. Again, we saw Volkanovski be a little bit vulnerable last year, and a whole year has passed. He's not getting any younger, so I think Lopez takes this one.
I could see it. It's going to be a really fun fight. It's going to be a really fun weekend. Really fun weekend of UFC. 2 weekends in a row of UFC. We've never
It's
seen
crazy.
this before. It's back-to-back weekends. We have never seen this before. So Dana White starting his Paramount Plus tenure with a bang, and we're ready to see. It's going to be a fun weekend.
I'm excited. Last thing that I wanted to go over today with you, we got a little bit more coaching carousel news. Offensive coordinators moving all around the NFL, but there's one in particular that I think is fascinating. That is the Eagles' job. Now, the Eagles have all the talent in the world on offense, Mayrob. Every single piece of talent they have. They go out and they get Sean Mannion, which is a relatively unknown guy. Former quarterback, was playing just 2 years ago, but he's a lot like an earlier hire that we saw a team inside their own division make, David Blau. David Blau has been out of the NFL a little bit longer, but he has been raved about by these offensive geniuses, right? By these Kevin O'Connells, by these Ben Johnsons, these guys that call him football geniuses. There's reports that he's designed a lot of the plays for the Commanders the last couple years. That's David Blau. Now, Sean Mannion has been raved about because he was working under Matt LaFleur, head coach for the Packers, offensive genius, Shanahan system, right? He also played quarterback in that Shanahan system with the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell. He didn't have the greatest playing career. That's not to throw shade on him. Plenty of people don't have great playing careers, right? But now he's going to get a shot to work with a Ferrari of an offense, right? You've got A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith on the outside. You've got Saquon Barkley in the backfield, and not to mention Tank Bigsby, who had a pretty solid year, behind one of the best offensive lines in all of football. Jalen Hurts is a polarizing player, but if you can get the most out of him, he's pretty easily a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. You just have to be able to work with him and get the most out of him. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go because, again, he doesn't have a lot of that experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fail. We've seen the Eagles go through offensive coordinators like wildfire. Like, they are going through it every single year. They either have them get hired or they fire them. And the trend continues because when they have an offensive coordinator that is not Sirianni's best bud, they do really good and they go to the Super Bowl. When they have Sirianni's best bud, they do really bad and they fire them that next season. So we are on not Sirianni's best bud year, which means the Eagles are going to be absolutely terrifying, most likely. But again, the guys that they've brought in, Shane Steichen, was a former high-level assistant and had been in coaching for a while. Kellen Moore had proven production with the Cowboys as an offensive coordinator, heads over to the Eagles once Mike McCarthy gets fired from that building. This guy does not have that kind of experience. That's not to say he can't be successful, and I lean more towards the side of good than bad when you're talking about former NFL quarterbacks, especially in today's system where it matters so much. But the Eagles, they run the ball a lot. And I'm curious how the Shanahan offense is going to find its, not the Shanahan, the McVay offense is going to find its way into this Eagles offense that likes to run the ball. Heavy run team, build everything off of the run. McVay likes to run the ball. He likes to do that outside zone. That's not necessarily this Eagles team. So I'm very curious how they're going to blend these Eagles players with a McVay style offense. If they're going to do a mix, if they're going to continue to run Sirianni's offense, or if they're going to go more towards a McVay, LaFleur style, Kevin O'Connell style offense that we have seen be so successful in the NFL nowadays. But that Eagles team, I don't know how well it's built for it. So I'm really curious how it's going to go. I am cautiously optimistic about this hire. This one is fascinating. Again, you never really know how it's going to work. You got to get a chance. You got to get a shot. But I'm just not sure if this is the best hire. It seems like people were scared of taking that Eagles job, and I'm not honestly sure why.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, this situation continues to get weirder and weirder, but I think in terms of Sean Mannion, he has a great opportunity with this Eagles team to do some good things. He has an opportunity to turn the whole narrative around with this Eagles offense if he does the right things, if he can get Jalen Hurts scrambling again. Now, I do know defensive coordinators started keying in on that, but if he can scheme that offense going, that he can open up Jalen Hurts' legs again, that he can actually be able to run, run down the field and scramble a little bit more, I think he could do some good things with that offense. I think because that offense has a lot of good things that can come out of it. I think Sean Mannion has a great opportunity here. He's a good opportunity to do some things, but if things go bad, it can go bad really, really quickly as well. I don't think the blame would go on him. Again, if they have a tough season, I think it would fall on Nick Sirianni the second time around. But regardless, this is the situation that he's in. This is the job that he signed up for, and it's in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is one of the toughest places to coach. It always has been because of that media firestorm and because of the expectations that they put on that offense. Fair to say at this point when you have all pro level players, but expectations not to say the least.
Can we talk about Nick Sirianni for a second? I think he should get fired.
I think so too. I think he should have been fired years ago.
Like
I think the
it's
Super
so
Bowl
hard
twice.
to fire him, and he's such a weird coach because he wins games. Not because of him, but because of the roster that Howie Roseman is built. I think I could coach that team to 12 wins every single year. I truly do believe that. I think I could, maybe not a Super Bowl, but I think I could coach that team to a playoff berth every single season. And if I hired the right offensive coordinator, if I had Kellen Moore in my building, I think I could win multiple Super Bowls with that team. But this is not a guy that's in a position to get fired after winning the division, making the playoffs. So that although that has not stopped a lot of teams, I'm a hater of a lot of things. Bo Nix, but you can add Nick Sirianni to this list of hater hats that I've got on right now. I can't do it with him. Everyone in Philly, not everyone, but half of Philly hates him. Half of the team hates him, and he just, whenever he gets more power, whenever he brings in one of his buddies, whenever he's like, guys, I got this, don't worry, it completely backfires and blows up in his face. That's not a good coach.
Yep. And you see him getting into fights with AJ Brown on the sideline, yelling at AJ Brown, yelling at Devontae Smith. It's a mess. It feels like the only reason he still has a job, in my opinion, the only reason he has a job is because he won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, and it's impossible to hire a Super Bowl winning coach 2 years removed from winning it. So, it's a really tough situation. That's why I'm saying if Sean Mannion goes out there and has another bad year, I'm not putting it on the offense. I'm not putting it on the OC. I'm looking at Nick Sirianni and saying, this is the hiring that you made. This is the coaching staff that you brought with you. It's your fault, not his fault.
Yep. It's going to be really interesting moving forward in the NFL with the Eagles, and we'll keep an eye out on the other two head coaching jobs. Still two available. I don't expect them to get hired before the Super Bowl. Ahead this weekend, a couple of big games to keep your eye out on. A couple teams that I really like to watch. On Friday, the Clippers play the Nuggets. The Clippers a little bit red hot right now. The Nuggets still without Jokic, continuing to find a way to win games. On Saturday, the Spurs play the Hornets. That one should be really fun. Wemby taking on LaMelo Ball and that Hornets team that's playing so well right now. And on Sunday, you have a couple of good games, including the Clippers, again, playing the Suns, and the Thunder taking on the Nuggets. It is going to be a big week in basketball. We will break it all down for you, but it's not just the top of the NBA, but college basketball also has a couple big games to keep an eye on. In the top 25, number 3 Michigan takes on number 7 Michigan State tonight. That is a huge game. Nolan proclaimed that game of the year potential. That is on Friday. And the A-10's best, St. Louis, undefeated in the league, 20-1 overall, only loss to Virginia Tech, takes on Dayton in a high-flying A-10 matchup, although the Flyers have lost a couple big games. On Saturday, keep an eye out for Duke. The number 4 team in the nation travels to the aforementioned Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, although their record might not look like the best, they're a real good basketball team, and they're going to keep it close against you. You should not sleep against this team, especially when you go on the road to face them off. The undefeated Arizona Wildcats rivalry game take on Arizona State also on Saturday. Something to keep an eye on. And Miami, Ohio, also undefeated still, takes on Northern Illinois. I'm curious how long they can keep this undefeated stretch up. They escaped your UMass team a couple days ago. Should be a good one. BYU takes on Kansas, 13-14 matchup on Saturday. Couple of really, really big games over the weekend for college basketball. Alabama, Florida, another top 25 matchup on Sunday. And Illinois taking on Nebraska, 2 Big Ten teams. Only 1 loss in the conference. Nebraska took their first loss earlier this week of the whole season to Michigan. A lot of basketball to watch. Keep that on your schedule. We will be back on Monday with everything you need to know from around the world of sports. I can't wait to break it all down with you guys then. We'll see you. Bye-bye.